All right, everybody. Welcome back once again to a new edition of Too Big SoCon, Season 2, Episode 2. League got started yesterday. Couple of good games on the slate.
A lot of 100-point
a lot of blowouts.
Performances.
A lot of blowouts both ways.
Yeah.
The league blew out some people, and the league got blown out. We wanted to do a late episode recording last night that would be out on Tuesday, but some technical difficulties over on my end, and it was getting a little close to midnight Central Time, so we just decided we would.
Even on election night.
Yeah, we'd call it an L. So here we are on election night 2024, and it got me thinking this morning of who I wanted to cast my ballot for. So I, in turn, voted for Bucky McMillan.
Interesting choice.
I wrote him in, and I wanted everyone to know on Twitter that your vote is your voice, and my voice screams Bucky McMillan.
You think Bucky Ball will work for our country?
I absolutely do. I'm going to tell you why. As I tweeted this, it started to gain some legs, actually, and I saw a few delusional people in the Sanford space that I think convinced themselves that he could win if he ran.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody even just took my picture and tweeted it like it was their own. Buxley the Bulldog, I do see you. And I hate that I'm acknowledging you, but... So here's why Bucky McMillan gets my vote for president. Number one, unity. Right? Number one through number whatever on the roster, you're going to get run. You're going to pull your weight. We're all going to do our part to make the dream come true. Right?
That's a good point.
Number two, he takes care of our veterans. He takes care of the elderly. He fought tooth and nail to get Rylan Jones another year. And damn it, he got it.
The elderly is important. And he's an important elder.
Third, he's calm under pressure. Bucky last year, after the infamous A.J. Staten-McRae block and foul call. Look, if that was me, I'm getting fined like no other after the game in the presser. I'm going after those refs. Because that was atrocious. But Bucky, he kept his cool. He didn't say anything incriminating. And he got out of there unscathed. So
he's definitely a better man than I'd be.
Number four, he just creates jobs. I mean, look at that. Go to their website and scroll through their roster. He's got 20 guys on the roster. I don't know who has scholarship. And he's got 6 assistants. The guy is just, it's trickle-down economics. He gets the job. He gives jobs to everybody else. That's why Bucky has my vote. So, Taylor, I tasked you with choosing your own SoCon president.
Yep.
Who did you cast your vote for?
So, this might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm going with none other than the VMI coach, Andrew Wilson. And let me tell you why.
Please elaborate.
Let me tell you why. He's up and coming, promising candidate, played basketball, he's experienced, and he is taking his VMI team, historically bad school, and he is putting it on the rise, getting transfers, accepting their culture. That means I know if we were ever in a recession, he can get us out of it. Now, it has been one game, but I liked what I saw yesterday. So I think he's getting them on the rise. I think he'd do the same thing with our country. It's still early. He's only in year 3. But trust, he's building a culture just like he could do for our country. He'll get us out of that recession. That was my main reason.
I'd have to disagree with you. I think that the track record of VMI head coaches, I think if Russia offered him, the opportunity to run their country, I think he'd jump at it in a heartbeat. They don't stick around.
You might not be wrong, but while he was the president, he would do a great job. Like when was that house market crash in 2008 or whatever? He could have brought us out of that.
I don't
I'm
know
convinced.
I don't know about that, but that's outside the box.
Yeah, that was
Um,
my main goal.
Somebody on Twitter said that Tim Kraft should be the vice president.
Oh,
And
interesting.
I think that was a good pick because
Yeah,
I think Kraft is a guy that knows his role. I don't think he'd try to do too much. I think
I didn't pick a vice president, but that'd be a good one too.
I think he'd be a loyal pick for Bucky. So
Vice president loyalty is important.
now that I've tweeted my ballot, we'll be uh, we'll be doing this instead of actually watching the election coverage. But Taylor, I wanted to give you a little bit of trivia
All right,
to start episode 2 here.
hit me.
Who, after one game, is leading the Southern Conference in scoring?
Is it Augustus Kieldelos from VMI? Because he had 27.
It is Kiudalus.
It is. Yeah, I couldn't say his name. But
I just want to make a fake 30 for
Augustinus,
30
not Augustus.
commercial. I want to make a fake 30 for 30 commercial. Like, what if I told you that a VMI cadet was leading the Southern Conference in points per game?
I got to screenshot that graphic and keep it forever.
Just show that to my kids. They're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
We can start there if we want.
Yeah.
We can start with VMI blew out
Washington College.
Washington College. Yep.
Yeah.
It was a little tight there for
Yeah.
about 8 minutes or something like that. But the more I watched this team, the more I realized that they're so much better than they were last year. I'm kind of just realizing that now they have like guys they can put on the floor that know like where to stand and like how to move around on a basketball court as a unit, which like baffled me. So congrats to Andrew Wilson and VMI.
Absolutely.
They've definitely taken a step up from last year. There was a point yesterday where both teams were playing zone, and I get
Wasn't a
playing
fan of
zone.
that.
I get one of you playing zone if you're mismatched, you're kind of small, but I don't know. I think if you're VMI playing Washington College, you should just line up man to man and be like, we're better than you. Like, this is what we got. I get Washington College playing zone, but I don't know. Wasn't a big fan of that midway through the first half. But yeah, like Kiljudas' just awareness of the game and like, I mean, it sounds dumb like I just said, but he just kind of knows where to be and he knows when to cut. Like, he scored 27 points on 9 of 13 shooting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just effective basketball, and Ricky Bradley like really ran that offense well and gave them somewhat of an identity, like I thought. I mean, I don't want to preface everything I say today by saying, they played a D2 or D3, whatever it is, because almost everybody did, but, there's stuff to take away from these games.
Absolutely.
I mean, what did you think of VMI?
Same thing. Like early on when it was 15 to 14 to start and both teams missing shots, I was like, oh no, it might end up last after all. And who knows, maybe it still will, but I was very impressed. They started hitting shots. And they did do some pressing, and they forced a 10-second violation, which I was impressed with. You don't see that very much. And then, Augustinus got going, 27 points, scored a little bit of everything, hit a three, hit his free throws, hit some jumpers. And then, Ricky Bradley, I think once he hit that, like, step back, I don't know if they called it a three, but that and one in the corner, I was like, they're about to start rolling. And they did. Are knocking down shots, playing good defense, and Yildiz Zogel, who was my pick for I apologize, did not say the name right, but he was my pick for their X factor. He put up Rondo numbers: 2 points, 10 rebounds, 15 assists, 4 steals. I was like, dang, that's impressive. And I don't know if you saw this, if you were watching, but towards the end of the first half, he had it behind that back pass to, I don't remember who got the layup, but he did the Curry night celebration. I was like, dang, I like this guy. So he's got the edge, and that's gonna be huge for them. That kind of playmaking, and they just did not have that last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier for some of these teams to take games like this for granted, but like VMI, a win is a win is a win.
Because again,
so, I mean,
when you think about people saying they're going to drop a D2, yeah, they just played D2 team, but they beat them by 50. When VMI was getting beat by 50 multiple times last year, this has just got to be feel good, and they're already a fourth of their way to their win total last year. So hey, at the end of the day, they're tied for first in the conference. So
I guess so.
You got to take that win and build off it.
Yeah, I think it's really big for a team like this to just build some confidence through the schedule. So
I call them tune-up games.
Speaking of building confidence, how about the Citadel yesterday?
Dude, I was impressed. Because they played a zone 2 in the first half, and they were forcing Boston College to shoot, and it was working. Eventually, they started making a little more shots, but they were not making it easy.
No,
but man,
not at all.
Brody Fox, heck of a player.
He
kept
bigger.
them in it in the second half.
He's bigger than I thought too. I mean, he's like a big 6'6", just scorer. He's athletic too. Like when he gets to the cup, he can finish. I gotta say, I did have this team in last.
I did too.
I kind of want to flip flop that now.
I know. I was thinking about it.
Like, as good as VMI looked, like this was on the road at an ACC opponent. Ed Conroy is one of the better coaches in this league, if not the country. I mean, the adjustments that he was able to make throughout the game to keep them in it, like they were getting eaten alive inside in the first half. Those two bigs from Boston College were just like having their way, and they came out in the second half, and he started sending doubles at them, like forcing them to play more outside, and that was really, really big for them.
Yeah, I know. I thought the same thing. I was sitting there, and I was like, man, I can't switch up now, but they're looking good. But at the same time, who did they beat last year that was so big, and everybody, like,
Notre
looked
Dame.
like they were... Yeah, so first game, it's hard to know, but that was very impressive. Fox and Glover really gave him a boost, and then Davis off the bench scoring 10 and having 7 rebounds. Like, just, man. And yet they only made 3 threes, and they lost by 9.
I was about to say.
I think only 1 in the second half, and it was kind of late. And they missed 8 free throws, so you got to think. I mean, who knows what Boston College would have responded if they made more of those shots, but to lose by 9 and shoot that poorly is frustrating, but also something to build on. Because coach needs to show them that and be like, look at these numbers, shooting 38% from the floor total, and we lose by 9 to ACC team. So they should hold their heads up high, but also work on the shooting.
I mean, to be fair, Boston College only made 5 threes, but they just didn't shoot as much volume-wise. They were 5 for 18. The Citadel was 3 for 24. So, I mean, you have to walk away from that one encouraged if you're Ed Conroy and the Citadel, because
absolutely,
they showed some signs that they could be maybe better than Western Carolina.
Yeah,
they're by no means a winner of this league, but
but they could pick up some upsets here and there.
Speaking of Western Carolina,
they knocked off the powerhouse Bob Jones.
They did. Take excellent care of Bob Jones.
I watched a little bit of that. It was good. Pretty much everybody contributed. They had 4 guys in double figures. A couple guys scored like 8, 9 points. I wish CJ Highland got a bucket. He only had 2 points and free throws, but I mean, it's easy to say it's just a D2 school, but anytime you put up 100, it's got to feel good. I think they caught fire from 3 in the second half. They made 13 total, and I think either 9 or 10 of them were in the second half. Basically when it was over, but like that's good to build on, making the jumpers and seeing everybody get involved like that. Like I think everybody in the box sheet scored except for maybe one, and so everybody made an impact, which is good no matter what. So, and it was pretty balanced. Leading scorer had 16 points. When you score 100, that's
Yeah.
good to see. And
Yeah, I mean, it sounds dumb for a team that's basically all transfers except for Bernard Pilote, but
yeah,
like the new guys look pretty good.
they did.
Marcus Kell was 5 for 6 from the floor for 16 points.
Yeah, yeah. I meant to say that.
Cord Stansberry was 3 for 7. Pilote was just 4 for 7. But for a team last year that couldn't find a consistent big to save its life, to have Chase McKee in and go 6 for 6 and Vernon Collins go 4 for 4. I mean, your bigs were perfect from the floor. So, I mean,
Yeah.
there's not much more you can ask for.
Oh,
Granted, it's not a SoCon opponent, but like that has to be encouraging for Tim Kraft. I just wonder how the guard play will shake out for them as we keep moving forward, just because they
Yeah.
have so many. I mean, Stansberry, Ice Emery, Livingston, like all these guys. I just wonder how the minutes are going to shake out moving forward, unless they're going to be playing buckyball or something like that.
Yeah, that is something I was
But-
almost concerned with because almost everyone contributed. It might be harder in the future to limit those. I mean, it'll be easier when they play a D1 opponent, I'm sure, but like to limit or to find like the right kind of what you were saying, the right like rotations and stuff for all these guards. Because Collins put up 8 points, 4 rebounds. I mean, Emery 8 points, Pilote 9 points. Like it's hard. There wasn't huge standouts except for Kell with 16, 7, and 3.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's also good to have options, and we'll see what happens when they get to SoCon opponents. But overall,
Yeah.
I mean, can't complain for a 40-point win,
Yeah.
even if it was Bob Jones.
I mean,
So.
I can't say enough about Chase McKee and just how comfortable he looked right off the bat with this team. I mean, 13 points, perfect from the floor, 8 rebounds, and 4 assists. I mean, he just looked so comfortable with that team, and his ability to pass, I think, is going to be huge for them moving forward. So, I mean, we will
Agreed.
see on that
Yep.
team as we move into some of the more contending teams. Probably the best game of the day. Definitely the best game of the day.
Oh,
UNC Greensboro getting it done against Florida Gulf Coast. What did you think about that one?
It was a tale of two halves. First half, shooting 10 of 19 from 3. And they were up consistently like by 12 the whole time. I was thinking they were going to run away with it. I was impressed. And then, Jalen Breth finished with a double-double. Atwell was hitting threes. And then they got the second half. They made, 2 threes? To their credit, they finished, because they tied it up 59-59, and I was like, oh no, they're going to sell this. And then they went on a nice run to end it. Giles had a clutch 3. They made their free throws, and they were able to finish. Also nice to see Demetrius Davis put in 6 points and 9 rebounds, hitting a 3 also. Weird seeing him in that uniform, but I was happy for him. And overall, a solid game. Atwell was 17. Jalen Breth, 11 and 10. The shots just stopped falling, but they ended up winning. And yeah, I think they were 17 to 20 from free throws. So they made the free throws when it mattered, especially. And yeah, so that's a good win because Florida Gulf Coast, I'm pretty sure, was favored.
That is a really big win for them.
And to stay calm after blowing a lead like that, like most teams would sell, but they hit big shots.
True. Very true. All of the Donovan Atwell discourse, about him expanding his game and getting to the basket more, what happened? He was 4 for 12 from the floor and 4 for 8 from 3.
Yep.
He played the exact same game he played last year.
And he dropped 17, I guess. Yeah. But 0 of 4 from 2-pointers, 4 of 8 from 3.
I will say, I don't know what happened with the broadcast, but I missed the first
Okay, I thought that was just
5
me.
minutes or so. And I think he had already hit 1 3. But then when I tuned in, he was he had a guy on the left wing and had a step going to his left to the basket and pulled back for a three. I was like,
I remember the play you're talking about.
what happened? Like, I thought we
Yeah.
could drive to the cup now and finish. So I
I
don't
think he
know.
did a couple times. He just didn't finish.
Yeah, I wonder what happened in those first 5 minutes. Maybe they went
Yeah.
Jordan rules on him and he didn't
Yeah.
want to go anymore.
See, I was wondering. I thought that was just me, so I'm glad it happened to you too.
No, ESPN was having issues all day,
Mhm.
honestly. Stats,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Breath, it's kind of same thing. I got what we expected out of him. Like, they tried to run that little cross screen and get him the ball on the block, and half the time he wouldn't even end up on the block. They would push him out closer to the wing, and he would just try to take two dribbles and drop step, and when it didn't work, he would fall on his pivot foot and dish it out. I'm like, he doesn't have like a reliable baby hook that he can go to over and over again. Like, I don't see that style of offense
Yeah.
just winning consistently.
Because he did have that double-double, but he was 3 of 7 for the floor, which as a big man is obviously not what you want to be at. And so he's really got to, especially when he goes against these SoCon big men, he's going to have to develop at least some sort of hook shot.
I mean, again, I like Jalen Breath for what he is. Like, basically a Serge Ibaka before Serge expanded his game out. Like, just catch lob. He's basically Clint Capella. That's better.
Catch lobs and rebound.
Yeah, and block shots. I mean, I don't need you initiating offense. That's just my 2 cents.
He didn't have a block or a steal last night. That's something I was surprised at.
Oh, well, he needs to be doing more of that.
But yes, to your point. Yeah.
Sorry, I'll get off the UNCG hate really quick. I was pleasantly surprised by the guard play.
Oh, yeah.
By Giles and, Ronald Polite. They were amazing. I mean, they carried the offense all day. Like,
yeah, Polite especially didn't show as much in the box seat as Giles did, but you could feel his impact out there. I mean, he did have 10, 3, and 3, but Giles at 17 made 5 threes. Yeah, they don't win that game without both of them controlling the game like they did.
So I think the vision for Mike Jones was kind of for, I guess, Polite started yesterday, but for Saizono to step into one of those starting roles and then have Giles and Ahmed off the bench. But I think he'd be better off just starting Giles and Polite and keeping Saizono and Ahmed in their roles that they were in last year, which is just to come in and kind of supplement those guard minutes and play good defense and, hit the occasional three when you're open. Because I thought Polite
last year
was fantastic just all over the court. I had 3 assists last night, too. Giles wasn't exactly swinging the rock, I'll tell you that. But, I mean, the offensive spark that Giles brought off the bench was huge for them.
Absolutely. And again, he hit that 1 of 2 threes the second half, and it was the one to put him up. I don't remember the exact scores, but it was pretty much the dagger to put him up, I think, 7 or 9 with a minute left. So he hit it when it mattered. Had 2 steals as well, so he played some good defense.
Yeah, and there was a point, like, I want to say early in the second half, where Polite settled in and looked way more comfortable once he figured out kind of the physicality of the game.
Yeah.
And from that point on, he was driving to the basket consistently, dishing, doing what he had to do. And I was just super impressed with the guard play for them yesterday in a big spot.
That was a physical game. Got to the free throw line or shot 20 free throws, and again, making 17 of them, huge.
Yeah, I mean, the guards and the defense were both great in gut check time. I do have one question, though. Are we going to close with Miles Jones all year?
Wondering the same thing.
I get that he started.
Yeah, but
we're close.
He was he didn't score, right?
He was 0 of 3 from the field, 6
Yeah,
rebounds,
he was in
4
foul
fouls,
trouble. Yeah.
4 fouls.
That's 6 rebounds.
We're closing with Miles Jones?
Yeah.
I mean,
That's something I expect he
based
might change up in the future.
based on how Demetrius Davis played in his minutes yesterday, I might go Giles, Polite, Davis, Atwell, Breath. That would be my
'Cause
5.
Davis didn't play as many minutes as he probably should have for as well as he's playing.
Because
Played a lot in the first half, didn't play much in the second half.
in
From
the
what I
role
saw.
that Davis is in now, just kind of, and kind of what he became last season at Chattanooga, like rebounding the ball,
Mm-hmm.
like just really effort and being able to defend effectively at 6'8" and hit the 3 when it comes to you, and slash and dunk, not necessarily creating for yourself, but taking open looks wherever they may be and hitting them. I think he would be like a great connector for them to close games.
If he shoots threes even close to like he did with Chat 2 years ago, they'll have something with him for sure, even more, and which should definitely be a starter. But
Yeah.
already, he can hit the open 3 occasionally, defend, rebound, even had 2 assists. So he was good role player for them, for sure.
Yeah, and I expect his minutes to go up too, just because I don't know that he's been there all that long. I think
Yeah.
he may have got there in August. So I mean,
Oh, so he joined really late, pretty late.
yeah, I think he was waiting on the waiver, and it was kind of in limbo for a little bit until he got it. But I think the more time and reps he gets, the more minutes he'll get for sure.
As he should.
We'll now talk about your preseason favorite, Wofford. What did you see out of them?
Man, so that was great because I was worried I was going to have to miss it, but I got off work early in time for that 4 o'clock game. And it started off the game with a quick Dylan Bailey 3, came down, and Corey Tripp forced a tie-up. That just kind of set the tone for the game. Shooting a lot of threes, getting steals. Everybody, again, got involved. All their starters except for Tripp, which is crazy. Stewart double figures. Tripp only had 7, but they didn't really need him to do that much. He did have 5 assists, but he was controlling the offense out there. Loved what I saw to Justin Bailey. 16 points, hitting 3 threes, 5 steals as well, and 6 or 7 from the floor in only 16 minutes. So he showed out. He looked like he fit right into that offense. Like if I didn't know anything, and you were to tell me that he was the one transfer that played, I would have been like, no way. And then loved what I saw from Filowich. Obviously, Lorenz played well too with 16 and 6. El Shakiri, 12 rebounds, 11 and 12. So that was nice. Anthony Arrington had an 8, 8, and 8 stat line. So a lot of good stat lines. Filowich's, I liked his game yesterday. Double, 4 assists. So he even showed off the bunnies on that one. I would say my only concern, because it was D2, but they got a little inefficient with the 3. They shot 15 of 50, which I think they'll do better on the future, but they did start to kind of throw them up and they weren't falling. And then Filowich, after shooting 32% from the free throw line last year, was 1 for 5 yesterday. So that's a concern for the future. If games are close, they might just start fouling him. And I don't know, you just would hope he improved, even like a little bit. But we'll see. It's been 1 game, but they did have 30 assists and 18 steals, 9 steals in each half. So they were ball hawks yesterday, and D2 team, but they looked impressive to me.
Yes.
And just about you can tell this team was together last year, just the way they moved the ball.
Absolutely.
It was amazing to watch. Even when they were up 50, I was still invested in their offense.
Yeah, and with Justin Bailey, you could tell me that he was on the team last year.
Yeah.
And I believe, he fit in so well in that starting lineup next to Dylan Bailey and Corey Tripp outside. So, I mean, they got out and ran early, and you could just see that they've been working since March. So, I mean, that was really good to see. To the Filowich fouling point, it's funny you say that because Jim Noble, who does the play-by-play for Wofford, mentioned that when the first time he got fouled.
Oh, really?
And he went up there and made the first one, and Jim was like, "Yeah, keep it going, Kyler." And then he didn't make another one for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
Oh, that was funny. But like Corey Tripp, I don't. It's weird to see that he didn't score that much yesterday because, like, watching his feel for the game is still so, like, elite compared
Mm-hmm.
to most others in the league and the country, honestly. Because I feel like he could just tell that he didn't need to score 20, 25 points that
Yeah.
game to win. Like, he kind of could sense when there was a little bit of an Erskine run, and he would just get to the basket with ease and get an and one or whatever it was. But he was just super focused on getting other guys involved yesterday, and it's just always good to see from a guy that's supposed to be your best player, like not necessarily feeling like he has to put up all the numbers and do that kind of stuff, but just do what is necessary to win the game. So he's just such an ethical hooper. He's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Um,
Yeah, only took
Jack,
7 shots, but they didn't need him to shoot that much. So
exactly. Um, Jack was texting yesterday, basically taking a victory lap on Jeremy Lorenz already, but
uh,
um, I I was impressed, but also like kind of wanting more from him because he hit a three in the corner, and I was like, oh,
yeah,
oh
I was like, all
god,
right,
he might be nasty. And then
yeah,
he missed some bunnies, man. Like he had a couple of
yeah,
layups and like just little baby hooks bunnies that he just missed, and I like he could have had 20 points if he collects all
hmm
the made baskets that he should have. So um but he runs the floor well. Like he was getting up and down yesterday. I do have a little concern defensively for him when if Wofford wants to switch. Like if he gets caught on a Trey Bonham or like a Rylan Jones, like one of the faster guards in the league, he has a hard time moving his feet. Like he's long and he can recover if he needs to, but staying in front of a guy um, didn't do that very well
yeah.
yesterday
He did get beat a
against
couple
the
times. I noticed
D2.
that.
Um,
Do wish he
when
got a
Fi-
few more rebounds too. 6 compared
yeah,
to El Shakir with 12, and then Phillips with 10. Like, what? 16
yeah.
points, heading a three in the corner.
There was also
Some good and
talk
bad.
of there was also talk of running a lineup with two of the guards and Lorenz, El Shakiri, and Filowich on the floor together.
Interesting. I don't know about that.
There's just no shooting.
Yeah,
There's no spacing.
yeah. That
Um,
spacing would be a mess.
I'd be interested to see if Dwight Perry tries that out, but I don't know how that would work.
I don't. Yeah,
Um, I do have to say I'm eating my words on Filowich a little. Not that I ever said he was a bad player or anything, but um, when he dunked yesterday, I tweeted and was
I
like,
saw your tweet.
I tweeted and was like, Filowich dunk. And then like 3 minutes went by and he dunked again, and I was like, all right, this is no
yeah,
longer
he.
this is no
Yeah, he
longer
in
a
shape now.
rare thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's gonna be
This is the new
a
Kyle.
nightly thing for Filowich. Another question I have for Dwight Perry is, how much are these freshmen gonna stay in the rotation, like as we move into the dog days of January, February, like in Southern Conference play? So like Kamar Holmes and Luke Flynn, who, Flynn didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but I thought both of them played well.
Yeah, Holmes had 10
Um,
points. He was one of the guys with double figures.
yeah,
So
Holmes
they
shot
both
the
had
ball
solid
well
games.
too,
Yeah.
and had 7 rebounds. And Flynn had 3 assists. So I mean, and 2 steals. I just wonder, kind of like what I said with Western Carolina, like, do you have enough minutes to where you trust those two guys like deeply, like you would put them in the SoCon title game in March?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
I
As of
just
right now,
wonder.
I just feel like in this day age of college basketball, when it seems to be the focus on winning is experience, and especially since Perry knows all of these guys from last year, I would expect their minutes to dip when getting into the season. Maybe throw him in sometimes, could be wrong, but I would think at least when SoCon play starts, he's going to start trimming that down to his
Yeah.
core guys. Maybe they can get in. Maybe they'll get in if someone's in foul trouble, but seems like in this day and age, They like to go to the old guys before the freshmen.
Yeah, and again, like they're good players. Like they both, I thought they both
Yeah.
played well, but you just have so much experience on the roster. Would you give those guys minutes over, El
Yeah.
Shackries and,
And that
and
would be
guys
very
like
tough.
that you already have? I do want to give a quick shout out to my guy Michael Davis on Twitter. Um, Filled me in on the Furman game, which was not televised for whatever reason.
The score I saw for the reason 104 to
Yeah,
46.
not that it needed to be televised, but
Yeah.
um, just needed somebody to kind of fill me in on what was happening, and Michael has been awesome, so he's letting me know. He talked to me about the Auburn scrimmage too, so he said that Charles Johnson and PJ Smith were both out, but that their
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't
prognosis
see them in the box score. I was wondering.
that their prognoses are good, so they should be progressing back soon. He said that this is the tallest team in Furman history.
Really
So, he says they're bigger,
interesting.
stronger, and faster. So, Tom House shot 70% from the field yesterday. So he could be a shooter to look out for. His basic thing was like they are so much more confident than last year in terms of letting it fly from outside.
I
'Cause
saw they were like 60% from three.
at times it felt like Pegues and PJ Smith were the only ones that like wanted to shoot the ball outside last year. So to hear that Mason Smith and Nick Anderson, he said even Heen and Tyrese Huey were letting it go. So I mean,
Really
that's a good sign for them. Um, let's see. He says that Huey has basically turned into Dennis Rodman. So hey, every team needs
There
a
you go.
Dennis Rodman. So
Yeah. Rodman
um,
was a big part of the run.
Furman, I'm just praying you guys televise games going forward. I hope it has nothing to do with the new arena, but
Huh.
I just love to watch some Paladin games soon.
Wow,
I
yeah.
I have a lot of stock in Charles Johnson. Like he's supposed to retire me, so I'd love to
Uh-huh.
see that come to fruition. We'll move on now to ETSU, who had an interesting game yesterday.
It looked like to me,
Beating Newberry 72 to
yeah.
51. Go ahead.
It was just about what it seemed like they left off exactly where they did last year. They didn't
Mm.
particularly shoot well, but held them to 51 points. Seymour 17, Peterson with 19. Yeah, they only shot 42% from the floor and 22% from three. Boyd came off the bench and had 8 and 6 and 2 steals and a block, so he did a bit of everything, but also only shot 3 of 11 from the floor. So it was really just like I was watching it. It just reminded me a lot of last year, which is good. They made the
Mm-hmm.
SoCon title championship game, but if they want to win more regular season games, they just got to shoot better. And it's just the
Mm-hmm.
first game, but again, they did look good defensively, holding them to 51 points. So it was an interesting game. That's a good way to put it for them.
Yeah, I mean, defensively, this team is terrifying to me.
Mm-hmm.
With Seymour and Bradford or Wheeler up front, and then Kurt Lewis is a big guard who can defend too. Karan Boyd is a scrapper, and Alan Struthers off the bench. I thought was great yesterday, just defending the guard spot at a high level, and just kind of playing the game the right way. Driving to the basket and dishing for others. I thought was really good. But yeah, it really just the shooting was not what I thought it would be. Obviously, there is going to be growing pains a little bit with the team who most of its shooting is coming from transfers, so you do want to see these guys like settle in a little bit, but it was a little disheartening to see them not. Obviously, I expected them to shoot 100% from the field, and they didn't, so that's on me. But the big thing I saw is that they were shooting with confidence, and that's not something they did a lot last year.
Yeah.
Like this is a team that knows that they can shoot the ball now, and like when they get an open shot, they're letting it fly. So that was good to see out of them. The other thing, Peterson and Seymour were so good about not settling yesterday. Like last year, shot clock starts winding down. We have no movement, and somebody's taking a step back three to their left. Like that's just what they would do. And yesterday, Peterson goes 9 of 14 and shoots 2 threes, misses them both. Seymour goes 6 of 10 and makes 2 out of his 4 threes. So it was good to see them just be more assertive offensively. I think both of them kind of discovered a little bit of that in the tournament last year, but it was good to see this offense like not just be a shot clock dwindling down, we're gonna heave something up. Like even Karan Boyd yesterday was he was 3 for 11, but he was shooting the ball when he was open, like confidently, and that's always a good sign at this level. So
Yeah. Completely agree, because while he did not shoot well, they looked like a legit offense, whereas last year, to your point, into the shot clock, Seymour, step back three. It only worked in the tournament.
yeah.
But yeah.
My president, Bucky McMillan, and Samford picked up a big win yesterday after playing 5 minutes of not good basketball in the first half. I'm not going to lie. What did you see out of Samford that you liked?
Felt like I rode a roller coaster watching them play. Just all this running up and down. It's impressive. Playing, 11 guys alone in the first half? That is going to be hard for the guards to stop. And that's another one where I start to rethink my pick. I know it was was Miss College, are they D2, I assume? Either way.
D1.
Yeah. Either way, they dropped 100. They looked, they were under a minute left trying to steal the ball. They're ruthless. They're up 100 to 58, 30 seconds left, and they stole the ball. I was like, dang.
Mm-hmm.
But more of the same, Bucky ball. Playing 11 guys again. Had a Holloway with 11, Brownell with 20 off the bench, hitting 4 threes. They got contributions from pretty much everyone. So, looked like they looked like a solid team like last year. And Rylan Jones kind of was like reminded me of Corey Tripp. Didn't shoot much, but led the offense, had 7 assists, only shot the ball 4 times.
Yeah.
So, kind of like the similar role. He doesn't need to score. He needs to get others involved. And it worked. But man, it's exhausting watching them play. It makes me tired watching how much they run.
Yeah, I was a little underwhelmed with the transfers that were supposed to be their better ones. Like Trey Ford didn't shoot the ball particularly well. Like I thought he was still aggressive and hunting his shot, but he just didn't make most of them. Colin Holloway, I feel like I was looking for him early because I wanted to, and then I just didn't see much from him. He didn't feel that aggressive to me. But then they finally get a spark when Josh Holloway checks in. He starts like pounding the ball into the paint and gets them going. And then I thought all the bigs were great for them. Like they legitimately have 3 bigs that like could be trusted in March in the SoCon tournament. Like Oleinka comes in, he's long, he's like he runs the floor, he blocks shots, he rolls hard to the rim. Like I think he was their leading scorer yesterday. He was just great. No, Brownell was their leading scorer, sorry. But Oleinka was big for the energy, and then Brownell comes in and he's picking and popping and
Efficient 20 points.
Exact 8 of 12, 4 of 5 from 3, with 6 rebounds. Zion Wilburn, I think he got hurt early. I want to say, I don't remember.
I think you're right.
He was bigger than I thought he would be. Like, I think he'll be able to defend at a high level. Like, I feel like this team is a lot longer than they were last year. Like Jermaine Marshall and Achor were dogs, but I feel like down the depth chart they have a lot more length to defend at a high level if they want to.
For sure. There was even, talk about the bigs. There was that one sequence in the first half where they blocked like 4 shots in a row, and 2 of them were actually by Isaiah West. So to have the guards come in and be penning shots off the backboard, that's scary for sure.
Yeah, and I didn't even mention Allensbach. I mean,
Yeah.
I think he's a guy to me that you just will never have to worry about.
So he had a good amount of points too, I believe. Yeah, 13.
13 on 5 of 9 shooting, only 4 rebounds, but I mean, he to me is just a guy that's going to bring it every night, and for him to have the relief of Oleinka and Brownell, like those guys all kind of mixing in together, this was super impressive for this team. So, now lastly, we will talk about the nightcap, Chattanooga. Not a fun one, if I'm being honest. What are your thoughts on that one?
It's so hard because, I mean, you know they're normally making more threes. Everybody, I mean, they hit 6 threes and 5 of them were by Honor. The other one came late. I don't even remember who hit it. And their defense was okay in the first half, but it was hard to tell because they're missing 3 guys, one of them being obviously Frank Champion. That would have been the biggest difference. The 3 wing guys that could have helped, but I will say I was impressed with their rebounding, especially in the first half, because I think it was almost tied, like neck and neck the whole way, and I think up until the last few minutes, Chattanooga was actually leading the rebound battle. They may have ended up losing it by a couple. Yeah, they lost by 2, but still, Trey Bonham struggled, but he ended up getting some good looks at least, like driving to the basket, even had one go through the hoop. I expect that to get better. Honor knocked down shots. Kiesler, I think, looked pretty good. Did a little bit of everything. Had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. So there's a bright spot there. But I wish Noah Melson did more. Only had 4 points. Didn't shoot the ball very well. His energy was good when we were in, but overall just a poor shooting night. Like, we were struggling to even score sometimes. And 17% from 3. It's very Dan Earl-like. I expect that to get better in the SoCon, but... And again, the announcer was talking about it too, Honor and Trey being smaller guards, that kind of affected them, and it showed when they were being guarded yesterday.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say it was like terrible. There were some things to like be proud of, like they did well rebounding with missing a few of their bigger guys, and they need to shoot it better. But,
yeah, 100%. And I do expect that to get better for them. For me, I just saw a lot of, like, little miscommunications. Like, on like a drive kind of to the corner. You know, one guy thinks someone's going to backdoor cut. The other guy wants to come up for a dribble handoff. He throws it at, like, it's a lot of, like, pointing, like go that way. Like, my bad kind of stuff, you know?
That did happen quite a lot.
It's just growing pains for a team with a lot of transfers like they are. Second, I should have started with this. I hope those uniforms aren't permanent.
You don't like them?
Those are brutal, dude.
I was a fan of them.
Dude, they look like I hand knit them.
Maybe just because they were new, so I was like, whoa. But
and the neon yellow, no. Half the guys' names weren't spelled right.
Were they not? I didn't notice that.
Yeah, those are gonna go. They have to. But they did that last year too, with like, they didn't roll out their permanent uniforms for a while. I think they.
I kind of remember that.
I think one of the first games they actually wore them was when Bonham hit that game winner, but. Yeah, to me it was just like they didn't get out physicaled in the sense of rebounding, because like you said, they kept it close in that, but like there was no penetration. When they did get to the rim, like somebody ended up on the floor. Like it's it's what happens when you go play, a Big Ten school. So I don't have too many concerns on that front, especially without Champion and Whelan and Mulholland. So I've heard that they won't be back for St. Mary's, so it seems like the West Coast trip is a have fun trip in terms of basketball. So we'll see as that team progresses. But a trip like that is always good to kind of build some.
Those are two tough opponents.
Build some chemistry as a team going forward. Yeah. So, yeah, they'll get better.
Yeah.
As will every team in this league because it's November.
Yeah.
And as
definitely a rough game, but
as President-elect Bucky McMillan said, you want to be playing your best ball in March, not November. So
that is true.
Taylor, any closing remarks for the people as we won't talk to them until we have a new president-elect?
Andrew Wilson for president. And I can't wait to see Mercer actually play.
Oh, yeah, Mercer. What are we doing? Mercer and Furman. What are we doing, guys?
Yeah.
I want to see y'all play. Let's get on it.
When is Mercer's first game?
The
Thursday?
7th. Is that Thursday?
Yeah. Against Virginia Lynchburg. All right. That is on TV. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll be tuned in there. We can actually see
them play. When is Furman? Oh, Belmont. Okay, that'll be a good one to watch.
And that would be televised?
Yeah, ESPN Plus.
Okay, thank God. So yeah, we will get our first looks at Furman and Mercer going forward as I think we're starting to get a few non-D2 games, so maybe we'll definitely get to learn some more about these teams going forward.
Truly see how they are.
That is it for episode 2. I'm kind of impressed that we were able to yap for this long about these blowouts in the league. It makes me a little concerned. Makes me a little concerned about when we get into conference play, but I can yap about that forever. So, subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. This episode should be up early Wednesday morning, so we will keep you guys tuned about when episode 3 is coming out. I've been slacking on when this episode would come out, so I'll try to keep you guys in the loop better, but we appreciate you all for listening. Tweet at us, subscribe, follow us, and we will see you in the next one.
All right.